Hi there, I'm Tim, my companion is Ruby, and together we are the Owl. Well, just where do I start? The original intention was to walk the 14.5 miles of the canal with the girls and show you a few of the sights along the way. But this has been amazing. There is history quite literally around every corner here at Cromford, and this, of necessity, will be just the briefest of outlines. For the moment, we're at the Cromford end of the canal, and while the history is rich, packed into every conceivable orifice and mind-blowing, it's not the only thing going on here. In the present, there are plans by the Friends of Cromford Canal Group, link in the description, to reopen the canal as a navigable waterway all the way to Langley Mill. It probably won't happen in my lifetime, but I wish them all the luck in the world. Already, many aspects of the canal's life have been resurrected. The terminus wharf is vibrant with historical artefacts, buildings, shops, and a canal cruise on a real, restored and only slightly modernised narrowboat, well recommended, which is slightly over 2 hours and will take you from the wharf, past many interesting and often historic sites, and then return you to the wharf for tea and cake, etc.
Some velvet morning when I'm straight, I'm gonna open up your gate.
I suppose that this all came into being from about 1771, when one Richard Arkwright built the world's first water-powered cotton mill in Cromford in the Peak District of Derbyshire, and kick-started what would become the Industrial Revolution. The mills themselves, and how they fitted into the shape and the surrounding area, is a fascinating story which would take a full video all of its own to cover. But we don't have the time to do everything in this one, so we're concentrating on the canal for this particular show. The canal was built under the auspice of our old friend Mr. Benjamin Outram between 1789, when the charter was first granted, and 1794, when it was actually completed by the Cromford Canal Company between Cromford in the northwest and Langley Mill in the southeast. Doing this, it travelled through the valleys of the Derwent, the Amber and the Erewash rivers, some of England's finest countryside, taking in some parts which were, or quite soon would be, very heavily industrialised. Planned originally as an extension of the Erewash Canal with an arm to Pinxton, see the link in the description if my poor brain remembers, it was intended that coal should be brought down from the more northerly coalfields, along with limestone, lead and, well, anything else which needed to be shipped. Being so close to the Cromford mills, freight would have included Arkwright's cotton.
My summer wine is really made from all these things.
I walk in town on silver spurs that jingle too, a song that I had only sang to just a few. She saw my silver spurs and said, let's pass.
William Jessup was commissioned as the architect, the plan being that after the Erewash they would link to the Trent and the Mersey and allow access to the rest of the country and ultimately the world. This would be a superb plan with no flaws. Well, we all know that that didn't happen, don't we? Along the length of the Derwent Valley were businessmen who relied on the flow of the Derwent for their trade. They didn't much like the idea of the water being used to fill up a canal at their expense, so the first part of the canal was built on the 275-foot contour line, which being very flat and having no locks at all, convinced the objectors that it would be all right in the end. but south of the Pinxton Arm it descended and water was required to operate the locks, all 14 of them. So a reservoir was built at Butterley, which was filled over the weekend to power the locks during the week. This would allow the uninterrupted flow of the Derwent on weekdays. More of that in a future video.
But I couldn't find my feet. She reassured me with an unfamiliar line, and then she gave to me more summer wine. Oh, summer wine.
Strawberries, cherries, and an angel's kiss in spring. My summer wine is really...
Arrival at the swing bridge heralds the first of the many amazing items attached to this canal. A path crosses here which takes pedestrians to, or indeed from, the Cromford and High Peak Railway workshops. Completed in 1831, the C and HPR took advantage of the canal to take various minerals mined in the High Peak down to the canal for distribution to the markets further south. Again, a subject for its own video. Suffice to say that it closed in 1967 and the disused line now forms the High Peak Trail. This particular part is where the engines were shedded during non-working hours and where maintenance was carried out as and when required. A small tea shop and a very enlightening museum, as well as a fully working swing bridge, occupy this site now in some of the original buildings.
Oh, summer wine.
Strawberries, cherries, and an angel's kiss in spring. My summer wine is really made from all these things. Take off those silver spurs and help me pass the time, and I will give to you my summer wine. Oh, summer wine.
Two brightly painted brake vans stand on the remaining standard gauge rails behind the workshop buildings. A walk through these shows a small exhibition which is housed within. This tells of the history and the interface between the railhead wharf and the canal which was here, when, far from being a peaceful place of recreation, this whole area throbbed to the beat of industry and steam power.
There's no one in this world for me.
Originally, this part of the line was an inclined plane, where the wagons would be attached to a cable, and the weight of the full wagons coming down the hill would pull the empty wagons back up the hill to be horse-drawn to their respective mines to be refilled. This was later augmented with steam locomotives. The winding gear has been restored and is preserved here as a reminder of those times.
Miss you sundown. I need you sundown. Come on, come on, come on, come on back to me. Come on, come on, come on, come on back to me. I need you sundown. I need you sundown.
In the main buildings there's another exhibition containing this model layout of the workshops in their heyday and the actual workshop shed where the vehicles were worked on. The public are welcome to browse these exhibitions at their leisure.
There's no hands ever reached for me. There's never gonna be. There's no one meant for only me. There's never gonna be. And yet sometimes in my dreams I hear
Sundown, I miss you sundown. I want you sundown. Come on, come on, come on, come on back to
So, here we are again. It's at this time where we regrettably must leave you, hopefully only until the next episode. If you would like to keep up with the saga, please feel free to like, subscribe and comment on YouTube. So until then, we'll say, have fun and take care. See you in part 2.